Let's start with something uncomfortable. Most airport disasters, believe it or not, actually begin at home. Not at security, not at immigration, not at the gate, at home. And it's all because someone assumed something was, probably fine. Travel today is, honestly, heavily documentation-based. Airlines do not just transport you, they verify you. If your paperwork does not align with entry requirements, they are financially responsible for the consequences. That is why documentation errors are caught before departure. And, most of them are totally preventable. Let's go through the documents travelers forget to check before flying. First, passport expiration date, not just whether it is expired, but whether it is valid enough. Many countries require at least 6 months of validity beyond your arrival date, some require 3 months, some require validity through your entire stay. If your passport expires in 4 months and your destination requires 6 months validity, you will likely be denied boarding, even though your passport is technically unexpired. This catches thousands of travelers every year. Second, blank passport pages. Certain countries require 1 or 2 completely blank pages for entry stamps, not half-used pages, not pages with minor marks, blank. If your passport is nearly full, this becomes an issue. Airlines check because immigration authorities may refuse entry. Third, visa status. People often assume visa-free access just based on their past travel, but, visa agreements can actually change. These days, electronic travel authorizations are required in many destinations, so you might not need a traditional visa, but you may still need to get pre-approval online. And just so you know, approval isn't automatic. If you forget to apply before you leave, the airline simply will not let you board. Fourth, transit visas. This one really surprises a lot of people. Even if you don't leave the airport during a layover, some countries require transit visas depending on your nationality. For example, certain passport holders actually need transit clearance even when they're just staying airside. Travelers sometimes assume that no entry means no visa, but honestly, that assumption can lead to being denied. Fifth, return or onward travel proof. Some countries require you to show proof of onward travel before they'll let you in. Airlines might even check this before you board, so if you booked a one-way ticket and you don't have onward documentation, you could be asked to show proof of exit. And if you can't provide it, boarding can be denied. Sixth, residency permits. So if you live abroad and rely on a residency card for re-entry, it's gotta be valid. Expired residency documentation can actually prevent you from boarding your return flight. Airlines check re-entry rights before departure, and they really don't assume you'll just sort it out later. Seventh, name consistency across documents. Your airline ticket has to match your passport. Exactly. Even minor spelling errors can cause delays. Middle names missing, suffixes omitted, hyphenated names shortened. Most issues can be corrected ahead of time. But at the airport, correction options are pretty limited. Eighth, child travel consent letters. If a child travels with only one parent, some countries require written authorization from the other parent, especially for international travel. This is a legal safeguard against child abduction concerns. If required documentation is missing, boarding may be denied. Ninth, vaccination or health documentation. Entry rules can include health declarations, vaccination proof, or country-specific forms. Rules evolve. If you rely on outdated information, you may arrive unprepared. Airlines enforce what destination governments require. 10th, travel insurance documents when required. Some countries require proof of travel medical insurance for entry. This is more common than many realize. If required and unavailable, boarding may be blocked. Now let's talk about something subtle. Damaged passports, water damage, torn pages, detached covers. Even cosmetic damage can cause immigration authorities to consider a passport invalid. Airlines will often deny boarding if they suspect entry issues due to document condition. Another overlooked document, boarding pass itself. Mobile boarding passes fail more often than people expect. Dead phone battery, app malfunction, network failure. If boarding closes while resolving digital access issues, you may miss the flight. Always ensure your device is charged, or carry a printed copy. Next, frequent traveler program assumptions. Some travelers rely on status privileges for baggage or boarding group, but benefits vary by airline and route. Assuming baggage allowance based on status without checking can create disputes at the gate, and disputes slow boarding. Now, let's discuss something critical. Dual citizenship complications. If you hold multiple passports, you may need to present the correct one depending on destination. Some countries require entry on a specific passport. Failing to present the correct document can create boarding confusion. Preparation matters. Another oversight. COVID era or emergency travel forms. Even though many restrictions have eased globally, some destinations still require specific declarations. Rules change frequently. Rely on official government sources, not social media summaries. Now here is the bigger point. Airlines use automated systems that cross-reference passport data with destination requirements. If your document does not align, a red flag appears during check-in. Sometimes online check-in is blocked. That is not random. It usually signals a documentation issue. Ignoring that signal and hoping to resolve it at the airport increases risk. Now let's talk about overconfidence. Experienced travelers sometimes assume familiarity protects them. It does not. Rules change quietly. Visa exemptions expire. Electronic systems update. Travel is dynamic. Preparation must be dynamic. Now let's talk about timing. Checking documentation the night before departure is not ideal. If you discover an issue 12 hours before your flight, options are limited. Passport renewal takes weeks. Visa approval can take days. Electronic authorizations can be instant or delayed. The best time to verify documents is when you book the flight. Then again 2 weeks before departure. Then again 48 hours before departure. Redundancy reduces risk. Now let's discuss why airlines are strict. If a traveler is denied entry upon arrival, the airline must transport them back. They may face fines. They may face penalties, so enforcement happens before boarding. It is preventative, not punitive. Now imagine the gate moment. Boarding group is called. You scan your pass. Agent pauses. Types something. Looks at your passport. Silence. That silence is documentation verification. If something does not align, boarding stops. And that is not a conversation you want 5 minutes before departure. So here is the practical checklist. Passport, valid beyond required period. Sufficient blank pages. Visa or electronic authorization approved. Transit requirements confirmed. Residency permit valid. Name matches ticket. Return ticket proof available if required. Child consent letters prepared if applicable. Health declarations completed if applicable. Device charged or printed boarding pass ready. That is it. Simple. But skipped constantly. Air travel today is less about luggage and more about compliance. If your documents align, travel is smooth. If they do not, no amount of negotiation helps. Gate agents cannot override immigration law. They can only enforce it. So, before you pack your bag, pack your paperwork. Because the biggest travel mistakes are not visible. They are printed, and checking them takes minutes, but forgetting them can cost you the entire trip.